Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studios. Super pumped for our next guest. Tommy Moffitt is in studio. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I can imagine you're doing pretty well. It's been a good 8 weeks, huh?
Yeah, things are going well.
Yeah, so let's talk first off about what the emotions or just the last 7 to 10 days have been like for you, considering who we just beat, your old team, and moving ahead.
Yeah. So going into the week, it's pretty hectic. When you get into the in-season grind, for the lack of a better term, when you get into that, things come at you real fast, and you go from one team to another. So going into it, it was pretty hectic, and we didn't have a lot of time to really think about it. And I thought the most important thing for me to do for our players was to handle it as best I could, as if it was just another opponent, because it wasn't about me. It was about Texas A&M. And the Aggies, and if the game went like I thought it was going to go, then all of that other stuff would be lanyard, and so that's the way it turned out, and it's been awesome.
I was going to say, one of the things that we were told about you when you got here, and we talked to T-Bob and several other guys that know you well, is like, you're going to be a strong team in the fourth quarter. And since you've been there, I feel like the script has been flipped, right?
Yeah.
A&M is the physical team that dictates the tempo in the fourth quarter. Where did that come from you? Like that kind of mindset in the gym that translates to the field?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with actually playing the football game, and I didn't play at a level like this, but having played collegiate football, that's important. And then working for Nick Saban, someone who was a big influence in my career, he emphasized that as well. So a lot of it comes naturally from having played the game and actually coached football myself when I first started coaching. So, yeah, it just comes from past experiences and working for Coach Saban.
Was it weird walking into that stadium as the opponent?
It wasn't because I had prepared myself for it.
Sure.
For 4 years. It wasn't the 2 years I was here. Or the 2 years that I've been here, but it was the 2 years before I got here. I prepared for it because that was my goal, was to someday go back into Tiger Stadium and come out victorious. So the thing that was surreal to me was driving into the stadium and passing buildings and businesses and places that I'd been, that I've passed for 20 some odd years. And so on the bus ride, I actually text a friend of mine and someone that I rode the bus with for 13 years, I think, is Coach Steve Ensminger, who was our tight end coach, offensive coordinator. I texted him, and I told him that I'd feel a lot better if he were sitting beside me on this trip. And so he replied back and said, go get him, and, y'all are going to do fine. And so that was the only thing that felt a little odd, was to be in that vicinity without Coach Ensminger sitting beside me.
So it's interesting. I thought A&M was going to win, and they're going to win handily, but I don't know if I thought they were going to win the way they won.
Yeah.
I bet you saw all that was possible with the way they were practicing.
Yeah. I felt it, and it took a lot to hold back those emotions, and all week long. Just when you look at film and you look at scoring and you look at what we had done in the second half. And that's what I do. I track our first, second, third, and fourth quarter scoring compared to our opponents, and whether or not it's a valid evaluation of it, I don't know. But I've always tracked that, and I felt like if the game was close, then we were going to pull away, because that's the mentality of this team and the mentality of our head football coach, who the fourth quarter and playing at another level is something that's also very important to him. So I felt confident that was going to be the outcome.
Well, that's been the mantra, right? All off-season, all season, finish. Not only finish games, finish the season.
Yes.
Entering the fourth quarter of the regular season, and hopefully just halfway through a season.
Yeah, exactly. And Coach Elko does a phenomenal job of pushing that narrative and then displaying it throughout all of our training and all of our practices. and he's talked to our team since we started. And practice goes that way sometimes. We start practice very well, but in training camp, it would get hot, and then you're running the most important team reps at the end of practice. And Coach Elko emphasized every day after practice is that we got to finish. We have to finish. And it's something that's our kids embrace and go out and do every Saturday.
Can I ask you something about what Marcel said at the post game? Was the tackling dummy thing a real thing?
Okay. I don't recall a tackling dummy at practice.
Okay.
So, yeah. But now, we did have a hand shield.
Okay.
But it wasn't a tackling dummy.
And the hand shield had a face on it?
I don't recall that.
Okay. You don't recall. Okay.
Yeah.
I can get that. So I want to talk about Coach Elko. You said working with Saban. Like, what have you learned about Elko in this, year and a half to almost 2 full seasons of being with him and the way he goes about his business?
Yeah. So he's, and this is not cliche because everyone says it, but he's very smart, and he has a very clear picture of what it is that he feels like we have to accomplish on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. There's a plan for everything that we do, and it doesn't matter if it's the second or third week in January or the day before the LSU game. He does an outstanding job of planning and preparation, and he's meticulous about his preparation. And that forces all of us to be on the same level as him. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then he's a great communicator. And, this is something I think people overlook. He's got children that are the same age as our players. And right. 2 of them, he's got 2 boys that are the same age as our players. So he understands what kids these days are going through and what their mental makeup is, because he's got 2 in their house. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And he understands the kids today, and he communicates very well with them. And I think that's a major part that I think some people would take advantage. But being a dad, having coached watching my kids go through college and knowing the things that all the other kids are going through, I used to sit back and think, is this an advantage or a disadvantage? And then watching him do the same thing that I did not so long ago, I think that's a major part of it.
Is it fair to say that your job is kind of multiple roles? You get them physically stronger. You get them mentally stronger. You're their coach. You're also a therapist in a way. Like, you're with them so much that you touch these athletes in different ways. And I assume that's something you take great pride in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say therapy.
Okay.
If it is, it's an odd form of therapy. No, right. First of all, like, this job is like my job, my responsibilities are fun. Mm-hmm. And I have a blast. I enjoy what I do. I have a staff of guys that have grown up with me that are very similar but different than me, but they enjoy what they do as well. And it's fun. And it's fun to be around kids that age. A lot of people will say, Coach, how do you do that at your age? And it's more like doing that keeps me or makes me feel younger than what my chronological age is. Sometimes I'm worse than the kids. And so it keeps me going, and we do a lot of hard work. It's hard work, but it allows me to mentor them. And really, and I'd say this all the time, but the strength that we really develop lasts a lifetime. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go away when you put the bar down. It doesn't go away when you stop running. We're developing qualities, not only in strength and speed and power and endurance, but mental and emotional strength as well. And so that's the part that I really like about it. And you could call it mentoring or fathering or being a big brother. All of that is combined in addition to the coaching.
All right, that'll do it for the free part of this interview. For the extended version, please go to texags.com/subscribe and become a premium subscriber. And if you're a Texas A&M student, you can get that for free. So check it out, texags.com/subscribe.